In this video, I want to share with you how you can start your own meditation practice at home from absolute ground zero. I'm not talking about like Headspace or Atom. Those are great apps and things on YouTube that have guided meditations, and that's wonderful if you're into that. But I'm talking about developing your own practice so you don't need someone else to guide you, but you have your own next steps and you know how to go through and develop a meditation practice. By the end of this video, my goal is that you will know the objective in beginning meditations, and you'll have some steps as to go ahead and how to start that practice. If you're more interested in why you should develop a meditation practice, I'll link a video in the corner. The goal as we begin our meditation practice is just to hold our focus on a single object. And most people find it very difficult because our mind is compulsive and it's constantly thinking and it wants to go away and develop a new problem to solve and find other things to think about. So it's very difficult to quiet the mind and simply sustain our focus on a single object without letting it go away. About 2 years ago, when I started a regular meditation practice, I found I could hold my attention for about 2 minutes, and it was really, really difficult. I remember thinking, holding my focus for 5 minutes without my mind flying away sounded insurmountable. It was a crazy thing. And now at this point in my meditation practice, I regularly meditate for 25 to 40 minutes, and it feels like the time is just gone, and it feels amazing. But the key to developing that focus is daily practice. I always think about developing a skill set as it's like going to the gym and trying to get fit. Well, you don't get fit by going to the gym for 12 hours one day. You get fit by going to the gym for 30 minutes every single day for a long time. And it's the same thing with a meditation practice. Through daily practice of just a couple minutes a day, we can extend that amount of time until we hit about 12 to 20 minutes. And that's when the studies say that you begin to see massive changes, positive changes in your daily life outside of your meditation practice. Once we can hold our focus for about 5 to 10 minutes, there are a lot more interesting, intense things we can do. We can look at deep prayer, we can look at developing our love for ourselves and others, and many other things that are really fascinating and wonderful, and studying the patterns of our mind as it goes away, great things. But in the beginning, we need to extend that focus until we can hit that point of about 5 to 10 minutes. Since you haven't developed that focus yet, you'll probably find it's difficult to hold your focus solid for about 2 to 5 minutes without the mind flying away. So that'll be our first intent. Simply hold the mind on a single object, notice when it flies away, and then we study those compulsions and patterns of mind. If you want to see some different places that we could place that focus, then I've put together a beginning meditation playlist, and go ahead and check that out. And you'll see that there are lots of different objects that we can put our focus on for that 2 to 5 minutes. There's a quote that I love from a modern psychologist named Viktor Frankl. He says, "Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space lies our ability to break in and choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom." I've heard this called the mindfulness gap on a podcast. I really love that idea of the mindfulness gap, and it has been so powerful and useful to me in my own life. So all kinds of stimulus happens in life. A dog barks and I get stressed. I get an email from my boss and all of a sudden I feel like stressed about some conversation I have to have. Or I'm thinking about a conflict that I've had with my wife and all of a sudden life is more difficult. Well, if we meditate, that mindfulness gap grows. And when that moment of stress hits us, then we have the ability to break into that space and become useful and not just spinning in the negativity and stress of whatever goes on. So we can go into that space and think, okay, there's this conflict with my wife. What was my part in causing this? What can I do to make it better? And we can begin to change those thought patterns to be more useful to us. Or we can break into that space and just go into prayer. And that's even wonderful as well. So in the beginning, we're just going to do focus meditations and try to extend that focus as long as we can. If you have questions about any of the stuff that's going on here, or if any of this is interesting to you, I'd love if you'd leave a comment below and I'll gladly respond. And if you'd love to see more content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. And that way you'll just know when I put out more content and we can go along on this journey of developing a meditation practice together. And if you're ready to go ahead and try out your first meditation now, I'll leave a video on the end screen. This is Rex the Stoic Yogi, out.